Hello, friends. Today's lesson is Hold Such Men in Esteem. Let us read Philippians 2:25 through 30. How does Paul describe Epaphroditus? What specific attitudes and actions of this Christian worker reveal his character? All right, so let's turn there. Philippians 2:25 to 30. Yet I suppose it necessary to send to you Epaphroditus, my brother and companion in labor and fellow soldier, but your messenger, and he that ministered to my wants. For he longed after you all and was full of heaviness because you heard that he had been sick. For indeed he was sick, nigh unto death, but God had mercy on him, and not on him only, but on me also, lest I should have sorrow upon sorrow. I sent him, therefore, the more carefully, that when you see him again, you may rejoice, and that I may be the less sorrowful. Receive him, therefore, in the Lord with all gladness, and hold such in reputation. Because for the work of Christ, he was nigh unto death, not regarding his life to supply your lack of service toward me. All right, let's continue. Epaphroditus is mentioned only in this letter, but we learn quite a bit about him from the brief mentions that appear. Judging from his name, which refers to the code of Aphrodite, he was converted from a pagan background. Calling him a fellow worker suggests he was active in ministry, perhaps working alongside Paul in Philippi. Being a fellow soldier, compare Philippians 1:27, probably refers to conflict Epaphroditus faced in spreading the gospel, willing even to risk his life, Philippians 2:30. As the messenger from the Greek apostolos, appointed by the church in Philippi, Epaphroditus is sent to minister to Paul in prison and to care for any other needs he may have, Philippians 2:25. He was the one the Philippians entrusted with their financial gifts for Paul, Philippians 4:18. These offerings were critically important because whatever food, clothing, bedding, or other necessities Roman prisoners might need would have to be purchased at their own expense or brought to them by family and friends. Compare Acts 24:23. Near the end of his second imprisonment in Rome, Paul asked Timothy to do your utmost to come before winter and bring the cloak left at Troas, 2 Timothy 4:21 and 13. Paul would apparently need this thick woolen overcoat in his cold stone cell. There was also Epaphroditus, who was entrusted with carrying this epistle back to Philippi. See Ellen White, Acts of the Apostles, page 479. Perhaps because of the problems in Philippi, see lesson 4, Paul considered it necessary to send Epaphroditus back sooner than anticipated, and thus urges the Philippians to welcome him in the Lord with great joy, Philippians 2:29. Paul wants to make sure they do not worry about his situation in jail. He also underscores that Epaphroditus is the kind of Christians are to hold in high esteem, not because of their wealth or social status, but because of their sacrificial spirit in following the example of Jesus, Philippians 2:6 through 11, and 29 and 30. Compare to Luke 22:25 to 27. The Greek word for esteem or honor appears only a few times in the New Testament. For the centurion's servant who was valued highly, Luke 7:2. For those who are shown honor by their placement at a feast, Luke 14:8. And of Jesus as the precious cornerstone, 1 Peter 2:4 and 6. For Epaphroditus to be included in that group, he must have been indeed a faithful man. That's all for today. Until next time, take care. God bless.